Oh, Jimmy got the clue what I'm
Ironic
wearing.
you have the Trivium shirt on with all that drama going on. Was that to be ironic? It's funny that you bring that up, Jimmy. Why don't you just segue us into our rock news? We've got a couple of rock stories to talk about. One of them will be Trivium. I do want to cover really quick because it just came down the wire to our inboxes. The Who has announced their support, and it is drum roll. Do we have a drum roll on that?
Yes,
thing?
I do.
Oh my God, we can use the drum roll. Hallelujah. Yes.
Where'd it go?
Oh, damn it. You're killing Jimmy's perfect segue. You just murdered. You murdered it.
Hold on. Wait.
No.
Crickets.
Yeah, that's more like that could work. That could work. Oh. Okay.
There, how about that?
That works.
Ta-da!
The headline is, it's Candlebox. Candlebox is opening for the Who tour. And I'm excited. And I'll be honest, a little surprised. Look at the 90s rolling back in fine style. We have been talking about this for months. We are here for the 90s resurgence. Well, I'll say 90s, early 2000s. Resurgence. Like, oh my God, this is great. So badass.
Yeah.
Of course, the Who will be here September 21st. I'm saying that off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that's right. At the
Let me check. Yeah, September 21st, Shoreline. Tickets are on sale now over at livenation.com. But yes, that's cool of Candlebox, which we've interviewed the lead singer years ago. Remember, wasn't they were playing somewhere in San Francisco, and we talked to Kevin Martin. Yeah.
Yep.
He was super cool to talk to.
He was really great. I kind of geeked out about that because I was a huge Candlebox fan whenever I was like a junior and senior in high school. Obsessed. I remember having the cassette tapes in my car.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's just really cool seeing like a lot of these 90s bands get a resurrection of sorts over the last couple years. I mean, hell, we talked about Everclear recently. They got a couple dates in the Bay Area, and they're bringing back some 90s bands with them. And I just think it's cool. I mean, you know, what's old is new, as I guess you could say. But also, I mean, let's be real. Those are the bands that are like active now. There's not a lot of bands from the 70s or even like 80s that are touring as much now.
That's true. Very, very true. By the way, in case anybody didn't know, Jimmy Arsenault, who's on the chats right now, is an actual celebrity doing so much cool shit in back in the day. And he said, gosh, I hate to overpost, but you're never overposting. But Candlebox is the band that got me hired at the Edge. That's an
really.
All right. Well, you're going to have to post a story time on your socials, Jimmy, so we can see that full story because that sounds very interesting. Oh, and you're the drummer for the Who and the Foos. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, that's another segue. Did you tell Jimmy what we were talking about?
No, I did not prep him at all.
I'm like, hold on. Is Jimmy our producer now? What's happening?
I know. He's already got the rundown of all the topics that we're getting into.
Weird. Okay. Yes. So after we announced that Candlebox was the opener or support, I should say, for the Who, we were going to talk about this whole Josh Freese, Foo Fighters drummer situation. So we found out, I think, was that on Friday that Josh posted that?
Let me see. Let me check his Instagram.
Not that it really matters the day.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it on. Well, he did a new post literally like within the hour, so it could be funny.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so we can probably get into it as well. 3 days ago, so I think that's what, Thursday.
Okay, so basically, well, you know what? We'll have some journalistic integrity. Like, why don't we just go ahead and read off the so that everybody knows, because I don't want to misquote anyone, because I mean, he really went for it, and I thought it was really interesting that he did. So here we go. Josh Freese, who, by the way, like, you know, I mean, I'm obsessed with drummers, obviously living with two of them in my household and being married to one for 1,000 years. Josh Freese is such a badass drummer. He is so incredibly good. He's a fantastic studio drummer. One of the best. Look at you look at him coming in hot. He couldn't get our freaking drum roll, but he's got that.
I gotta add that
going on. Yes. But anyway, he's a phenomenal drummer. Like, just technically so savvy, great studio drummer. When he got the Foo Fighters gig, I was like, yeah, that made sense. Like, you know, yeah. So here we go. The Foo Fighters called me Monday night to let me know they've decided to go in a different direction with their drummer. No reason was given. Sad face. Regardless, I enjoyed the past 2 years with them, both on and off stage, and I support whatever they feel is best for the band. In my 40 years of drumming professionally, I've never been let go from a band. Why would he? He's that great. So while I'm not angry, just a bit shocked and disappointed. But as most of you know, I've always worked freelance and bounced between bands, so I'm fine. And he does. He does work with everybody.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he turned down the Sting tour to take the Foo Fighters gig. I could be wrong, but if my memory serves me. Stay tuned for my top 10 possible reasons Josh got booted from the Foo Fighters list. Is that what he just posted today?
Yeah, so he actually
All right.
did.
Oh, yep, here we go. All right. So we'll go through his top 10 reasons and then we'll talk about our theory. You want to call it a theory? Our theory.
Yeah.
All right. So number 10, we're going to trade off. I'll do number 10. You do number 9.
Okay.
So on and so forth. Number 10, I once whistled my hero for a week solid on tour.
Number 9, can only name one Fugazi song, which I mean, for me, yeah, I can only name that one song too.
I think most people feel that way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just had a conversation about Fugazi over the weekend. Number 8, 2 words, polyrhythms. That's a drummer joke.
Number 7, metronome, like precision behind the kit deemed soulless.
Oh, yeah. Number 6, demanded starting every rehearsal with a 20-minute cowbell sound bath.
Number 5, never once tried growing a beard.
Oh, snap. Little shade there.
I guess technically, yeah, 4 of the members of Foo Fighters have beards.
Yeah, so maybe if he wasn't willing to go for the beard, he was out. Number 4, didn't show up to studio because Mercury was in retrograde.
Number 3, promised Noodles he could be the 4th guitarist. And then Noodles from the Offspring, like at the top there, he did leave a comment.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's hilarious.
So Noodles from the Offspring.
He promised. Oh my God, that's great. Okay, number 2, refused to perform unless he was guaranteed a Ouija board and nunchucks after every show. That sounds like my kind of demand. I love it.
And then number 1, the whole poodle thing was getting to be a bit much.
All right. So, well, here's our theory. Our theory is that it may be Shane, Taylor's son.
Yeah.
Which you and I have privately talked about this. I think everybody is like on board with that idea. It makes sense. I think probably they would have taken the last 2 years to make sure that Shane is up to speed because that's a really intense drumming gig. But my issue with that, if it is the case, if it comes out that Shane is the new drummer, and the whole world will be like, yay, Taylor's legacy. Like, it's a beautiful thing. I am fully on board. And I think Josh would have been on board. That's the issue, is I feel like if that was the plan, tell Josh from the beginning, go, all right, we need you for a couple of years. We want to get Shane up and running. We want to get him as good as he can be. We want to mentally prep him for what this entails. So we need you for a couple of years and then we'll do the switch over. I guarantee you, Josh is so cool. He would have been like, got it. Not a problem. But obviously that didn't happen. And I'm not saying it is. We're just fully assuming it's Shane.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm rhetorically speaking. I wonder if Shane is ready for the job. At least from the last couple of years, for anyone who follows him, he's been playing in other bands. I think we saw him a couple times a year ago now with Chevy Metal. They played Bottle Rock and also Old Princeton Landing. So he's been playing live shows with different bands and, Chevy Metal specifically. So I wonder maybe I'm just, who knows, playing just assuming whenever they told him like, hey, you keep playing, you keep paying your dues, you practice on a smaller stage, like with these other bands. And then in a couple years, when you've kind of like paid your dues and kind of worked on your craft, then when the time is right, we'll make the switch for you. So I wonder if that's the case.
I think everybody would have been on board. I mean, I talked to Jay again. If anybody's watching and doesn't, or listening and doesn't know, my husband has been a drummer since he was 6, professional since he was 12. So he definitely knows a thing or two about drumming. But he was like, look, Shane will be great. Like, if they've taken the last 2 years to really get him up to speed, he will be great. He was not ready at that time, not even anywhere near ready. On a number of levels. Yes, from a technical standpoint, Taylor was a really great drummer. He was a very fast drummer. He was a very intense drummer. He had tons of energy. I just think that Josh would have gone that route. I think he would have played along. I think he would have understood the assignment. And so if it ends up being that and they just never told Josh that, I just can't understand why. And also, like, let's be frank, the Foo Fighters don't really need more bad press.
Yeah.
They've kind of been through it.
I mean, that's the thing. Over the last, 6 months to a year, they've gone through a lot, especially with the whole Dave Grohl cheating scandal and the baby
Mhm.
with the mistress,
Out of
all that stuff.
wedlock and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And I was just looking online. So Shane is currently 18 years old. He'll be 19 in August. So
Think about that. That's such a baby. And I'm
he's just
take
out of high
talent.
school.
Yeah, take talent off the table. Okay, take that off. I'm just talking from a mental standpoint. Like all of a sudden, you're the drummer in arguably the biggest rock band, one of the biggest rock bands in the world.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of pressure because everyone will be looking at you, comparing you to your dad, rooting for you. He will have that on his
Mhm.
side because Taylor was one of the most beloved people in all of rock. So I definitely think people will want him to win. But it's such a hard thing. By the way, Jimmy just said Josh would have totally understood that. Yeah, I totally agree. I posted about Josh on my page, which I tagged you in. Jimmy, I have to apologize. If you tagged me on Facebook, I hardly am ever on Facebook. I can't stand it anymore, so I didn't see it. I'm wondering what you put now. Maybe copy paste. Bad look on the way they handled it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I just from a publicist standpoint, like the Foo Fighters publicist, like, oh my god, like seriously, like. And remember, go way back, in the way back, whenever you're looking at Foo Fighters documentaries, there's all this conversation about a drummer, Dave Grohl, going into the studio and redoing drum parts and
Oh,
all
yeah,
of that
yeah.
stuff behind, people's backs. And
Mhm.
so this is not new. This behavior is not new. This
I
is kind of a theme.
It is interesting. Okay. Look at Josh Freese. Like, I'm curious if it's just not Shane. Okay, well, guys, let's talk about Josh real quick. I wonder if there's more to it. I wonder, did they just not click with him? Did they not get along with him? I mean, as we know, people in front of the camera, in front of the public eye, they can all act like they get along, but behind closed doors, who knows if they actually got along? As badass and talented Josh is and a true pro that he is, maybe behind closed doors, they just all could not click on a personality level, which I mean,
It's very
there might be,
important.
yeah, there's something to that. Well, as well, because I know this year they only have one show I think lined up this year, and so maybe 2026 is going to be a big year that they're going to go touring again, and maybe they just don't want to be around someone that they don't get along with, and that's right,
Possible.
and maybe that's why they didn't want to reveal to him, or at least in his post, what the reason was that they let him go. So
then you give no reason? Like,
yeah,
isn't there an adult way to handle that? Jimmy just said Dave being Dave, love him, but yeah, dude, they just play already. Let your vast PR team handle your stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think what you're saying is super duper valid, Huey, because that is such an intimate space. I say this all the time, and I think it's 1,000% true. Being in a band is like being married. Like, I feel like
Hmm.
Jay is married to me, but he's also married to the musicians that he shares so much time and space with, and vulnerability and writing and all of that stuff. And so it's a very intimate space. You have to love the person that
Yeah.
you're on tour with and you're writing music with or playing music with, whatever the case may be. So if that's the case, it's possible. Josh Freese is quirky. I mean,
Yeah.
if you follow him online, you can see like he's definitely a quirky dude, but
And his brother
he's
too.
yeah, and his brother too. Yes.
Yeah.
He just seems very chill and cool as a cucumber and just kind of down for whatever, down for the
Mhm.
cause. He's played with everyone. So
Yeah.
he's had to mesh. I mean, hell, he's even played with like bands like Guns N' Roses. So he's had to mesh with someone like Axl Rose. That's not an easy gig. Sting, same thing. Not an easy personality. And I mean
Yeah.
that with all the love and respect in my heart.
Yeah.
So he kind of has had to be this chameleon, I
But
think.
also because Dave Grohl is not only the front man, guitarist, singer of the band, but yeah, as we all know, he is also a badass drummer. And so
Yeah.
maybe Josh, I'm just guessing maybe they had some conflicts over the drumming. Like,
Yeah.
because as we know, Dave Grohl was the very first album. He did all the instruments on the first album. Then the second album, The Color and the Shape, the drummer that they had at the time, the original drummer, he
Yeah.
recorded his parts, and then Dave went in afterwards and re-recorded all the drums. And
Yeah,
so-
without telling him.
without
by the way.
telling him. And I know that drummer felt really
Slighted.
yeah,
Yeah.
slighted. Yeah, backstab from
Yeah.
that. So who knows? Like I said, we're just guessing because we assume there has to be more to it. Just off this post alone, it seems just so vague. There has to be more to it, especially from a public eye. Fans love Josh for the type of person that he is. But yeah, who knows behind closed doors how they all got along with each other. So
Yeah.
maybe we assume there's more to it. But now going
It
back
is
to
interesting that Josh he's willing to be so vocal about it.
yeah, I mean,
You know?
Well, that's the thing. It's like what they expect him to do.
Yeah.
Like they expect him just to be quiet about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure he wants to speak his mind and be like, "Hey, like this wasn't my decision, and this is how they handled it." And you guys let the public be was it public court or decide
Yeah.
how they want to handle it. But going back to Shane though, Taylor's son, even if he's ready, like from a physical standpoint, being a young adult, I just wonder if mentally is he ready to handle that, because you're playing like clubs, maybe a couple hundred people, some festivals, but like early in the day, so it's not as big as a crowd. You're not playing like headline sets at arenas, stadiums, or big festivals at nighttime. So I wonder if, emotionally, mentally, he's ready for that. I just hope if that's the case, let's say hypothetically he is the new Foo Fighters drummer. I hope he has a good team around him, like a support system, adults around him that have his best interests and will take care of him. Because I'm worried, dude, 18, 19 years old, and he's going to start getting fat paychecks in the near future. Dude, like, be careful what you spend your money on. That could lead to bad excess, especially for someone who has the blood lineage of addiction. So
well,
that.
I'm glad you said that. I was just going to say, I think we're being very delicate in tap dancing around Taylor and Taylor's history here, of which he knows, the world knows. And I would hate to see something like that happen to him. Now, here's the good news. Here's what I hope is the case. He would be in a band with his uncles. Like, he's surrounded with family, and you have to assume they're just going to go whoop and take him right under their wing, show him the ropes, take care of him, make sure he's protected, especially with the history of Taylor and the way he passed and all of that. You would think they would be triple protection around that kid. So, look, if they're not going to have Josh and they're not going to have Jay Michaelis, then then I love the idea of Shane, because I do have a soft spot in my heart for Taylor, and just the idea of legacy, I think, is very, very cool.
Yeah, and I just think for him, it would be a cool, like, that's the only way I think they could save this whole PR nightmare.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's what I was going to say. I forgot my own point. I think, look, we're music nerds. Most of the people in this chat on live with us right now, we're all music nerds. We all know exactly who Josh Freese is. We know what he's done. He is a name to us. I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think to your average Foo Fighters or music consumer, somebody who's a casual fan or even a little bit more than casual, I don't think that they probably even knew who Josh was before he became a part of the Foos. So I think they might see bringing Shane in, bringing Taylor's son is going to be such a big story that it will overshadow the loss of this drummer, Josh Freese, who's phenomenal.
But the casual fan might, that's just a hired gun guy for the last couple years.
They're not going to understand how great he is and that is a shitty situation. They're going to go, oh, but it's Taylor's son. So they may just think, it'll blow over. And it might. Yeah,
I mean, the only thing I think of is, as you said, like, these are his uncles watching out for him, protecting him. We hope so, because Taylor was in the band and still was doing things privately that led to his death. Right. With that being said, though, he is a grown-ass man, an adult, and was longtime member of the Foo Fighters. So I'm sure they couldn't control him 24/7. But at least with Shane, you would hope, assuming the bandmates, the management, whoever will, wrap him up in bubble wrap, as you like to say.
No kidding.
Just protect him at all costs and make sure he can get through this next phase of the band. If he is the drummer, this is all speculation, hypothetically speaking, if Shane becomes a drummer.
Yes, exactly.